Hi, I'm Don Littlefield from Brew Bus Tours.
And I'm Evan McElligott from Independent Ireland.
And we're here today to talk a little bit more in detail about our upcoming trip to Ireland next March, which is called Insider Experience Ireland.
That's a good name.
It's a good name. Yeah, we teamed up with you. You're native to Ireland.
Yeah.
What does this trip mean to you?
It's basically for the person who wants to go on a group that doesn't really like groups, Don. There's a lot of independence to it. There's a lot of just going places where you don't feel like you're being marched along following a flag and something like that. And going to breweries and seeing all these great places along the way just makes it extra special.
That's kind of why we called it Insider Experience, because you're the insider and you've made some great connections there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit more in detail, but one of the first things we did to keep it affordable is we left the airfare up to everybody to get there on their own.
Yeah, I mean, people are using points, miles, everything else, and they arrive early, stay late. Really just giving the flexibility, it's the way to do it.
So either way you do it, you need to be in Dublin about 9 o'clock on Wednesday, March 13th.
Yep.
Right? We'll assemble the group coming from all over the country, maybe other parts of the world. And then we don't know. Like, it could be a day of some rest from travel, or maybe a day of starting to explore.
What I like about the itinerary the most is there is a kind of a slow burn effect to it. That first day coming out of Dublin into Kildare, we go down to a brewery, visit Mark from Canvas, everything else, and just to blaze through. Then it kind of slowly kind of works up. We hit the west, we drop down into the country, and then that St. Patrick's Day thing, and then a big finish in Dublin. So so starting nice and easy, because travel it's still stressful, and it's becoming more and more so. So you get into Dublin. Mark from Canvas, who's just a great mind in the beer business.
Yeah, tell me more about Mark.
Yeah, he set up, it's a lot of much more homegrown product. Obviously making beer, everything else, it's hops, barley. Ireland's a very fertile place, but we've had to import an awful lot of the raw ingredients over the years, but that's kind of changing as well, a little bit when it makes sense for it to change. But yeah, he's been in the business for a long, long time. He knows everybody in the business, and we're just going to dive in and kind of go through the process of the beer making as opposed to just sitting, just tasting.
And Mark's inspired in part by one of Portland's best brewers, Allagash.
Yes. He just idolizes them.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a cool ship there, and we're actually going to participate in making a batch of beer.
Hopefully there's a lot involved with cool ship, but the temperature has to be within a certain range and everything else, but that's for Mark to kind of work on. And then there's also the option of finding that temperature as well to get the optimum kind of
fair enough.
Crazy cool stuff.
So that will be Thursday. That'll be our first full day in country. And then Friday we kind of head west. We head to the Wild Atlantic Ware.
Yeah, well, it's got a huge amount of publicity. It's one of the longest coastal driving routes in the world now. But before we blast into that, it's the Ireland's that inside Ireland kind of thing, the hidden heartland as it's now going to be marketed as next year, where that Lakeland region, which is just, the tourist numbers haven't come in a big way. The pubs are very local. You're sitting at a bar, you're more likely to be, having a good old chat and debating the great things in life, perhaps. But then, we're out into the west, Cliffs of Moher, that dramatic coastline that people just, you see a picture of the Cliffs of Moher, you know exactly what it is now. It is Ireland's most visited attraction.
Yep.
Natural attraction, anyway, and there's also different ways of doing that, and we won't give away all the secrets.
Not all the secrets.
There's so many different ways of experiencing products that are already popular, and that really becomes the insider experiences, where you're dialing something around a little bit to make it familiar from a different perspective.
We're spending that night in Limerick, which is a really cool town filled with lots of traditional music as you walk those streets. That's a really special place.
Yeah, not a bad pint there, actually. Limerick is great. It's obviously Dublin, Cork, Galway get a lot of the attention.
Yeah.
Limerick is a gem. Yeah, it's again knowing the little spots. It makes a difference. Now, when I say knowing the little spots, it's also you're making it your own. I'm not going to be dragging everybody around, but when we get in, we're going to be pointing out little spots, and people can make it. So you have information, but then you make it your own.
We're going to get a unique perspective on the Cliffs of Moher as well.
Yeah. Hey, all things weather permitting, of course.
Sounds good.
One way we'll find another.
Little hint there. Then the next day, it's March 16th. It's the day before St. Patrick's Day. It's now Saturday, and we're heading towards Dingle, one of my favorite places in the country.
Yeah. It is. It's incredible. It's incredible for a number of reasons. It's really, really scenic. The food, the restaurants are some of the best in the country.
Yeah.
The bars, the entertainment, the music, and just there's a vibe. It just glows. Dingle is special.
Yeah. That whole area, the Kerry County, we're going to visit West Kerry Brewery, a place that I've been to before. It's basically seems like a little barn next to a very, very famous pub. I actually went in there a few years ago, and they said, "Are you going to be bringing tours by here?" And I said, "No," but it turns out I am.
Who knew? And Dingle was getting ready for it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where Slayhead is, that spectacular drive. And Slayhead's just a really incredible place.
Yeah, it is. And I go over there a lot, and I brought mini groups over there, and it looks different every time.
Yeah.
It's the lighting, it's that dramatic fog that rolls in, everything else. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
And the breweries, they're doing something to make West Kerry Brewery, they have a natural spring right there, their own botanicals. It's just the beers are really, really good.
But we're going to try some distilled products too, and Dingle Distillery's got some good stuff for us.
Yeah, Dingle Distillery's kind of made a very big name for itself, and it'll be great to go there because obviously the whiskey has to age a certain amount of time, but it's still very young at that stage, and we get now to kind of get into the more mature stuff as well. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And we have a little pub crawl that night if you wish to join us. There's some really amazing places.
You're leading the charge on that.
I'm happy to.
Yeah.
You can drink beer in a hardware store, at a haberdasher. You can go all kinds of different places, and it really feels like Maine to me. It's a really cool spot. We'll be staying right in Dingle that night, getting ready for the big day, March 17th. It's a Sunday this year. It's a day to remember. It's St. Patrick's Day.
It is, and I think there's something very iconic about spending St. Patrick's Day in Ireland too. You know, it's very different. It's obviously here where we are. It's very much about pint drinking.
Yeah.
Over there, it obviously started as a religious holiday first, so it starts off nice and slow. There is a mini parade in Dingle early morning, and then we'll travel through the country down towards West Cork and eventually getting into Cork. And Cork, there's a big festival on down there for it. And yes, there's green and there's fun, but there's just a different layer of excitement because of where you are.
So that'll be really cool to see how smaller towns and villages, and then the Cork City is a big, kind of almost a metropolitan city.
And your parades are a little different. It's the schools, it's international people kind of taking part as well. It's just a really good day there. Yeah, good, clean, innocent fun.
Well, that sounds promising. Cork City itself is cool. The markets there are cool. There's lots of really interesting bars and so forth. And we'll be spending the overnight there in Cork.
Yeah, great city to walk around. The neighbouring towns, Kinsale, down by Middleton, Cove. You know, you've got a lot of space to kind of move around as well.
Well, that's where we head the next day after recovery. On Monday, March 18th, we head down towards Kinsale. Narrow streets, a harbour town, lots of great food down there. What else can we find in Kinsale?
It's just so colourful, pretty, beautiful. Yes, you have the restaurants now, icons, the fishies, the One Friday Fishy. It's a restaurant there, and it's hugely popular, booking months in advance now. Kinsale has always been the culinary capital, but also fish and chips, this kind of basic, kind of simple food, just done really, really well as well.
And we get to stop by some people that I made acquaintance of, Sam and Maud at Black's Brewery and Distillery of Kinsale.
Black's of Kinsale,
making American-style beers in a country where you're taxed on your alcohol by volume is a really interesting thing. So, I know. It's another spot where I stopped in. He's like, "You're going to be bringing tours here?" Turns out, I am.
Yeah.
So that's great. So we'll be returning back to Cork. So we have another night to explore that really fascinating city. And now we're heading towards Tuesday, and we go from Cork to Dublin.
And so much has happened in between. We're not kind of doing it justice, but yes, the finish is kind of heading back into the Heartlands, up through Kilkenny, Rockagh kind of territory. Before we do, we'll stop into Middleton.
Yeah.
Be rude not to, wouldn't it?
That's the birthplace of Jameson.
It really is. And obviously Dublin gets a lot of attention, but Middleton is where the production is happening. And, with Middleton, it's not just the Middleton or the Jameson brand. You're also into the Redbreast, which is my personal favourite anyway. Powers, Paddy, all these. So we start off with that, and then into Dublin. We'll give free time again.
Yeah.
But not before heading up to the Gravity Bar and getting that 360 view. At the
Is
Guinness.
that where St. James Gate is?
That's
in the Guinness storehouse, the birthplace of this fine liquid here.
That lovely nectar,
And the Gravity Bar is up at the top. I've been there a couple times. Both days cloudy, rainy, couldn't see anything. But the view, I understand, is really spectacular.
It is fantastic. I mean, the brewery itself is great to visit. But But that is it. It's just taking a pint up there, and you have a great way of seeing the full city.
So it's really going to be an amazing week. We haven't even hit all of the places and things we're going to do, but let's tell everybody what's included in the trip.
Oh, you have all your basics. So it's transport, accommodation, breakfast in the morning. Lunch is usually on the go, so you stop in, so that's on your own. Yeah. And then evening meals are on your own as well, with one exception. And that just gives people the flexibility to explore the towns they go into and make the trip their own. And come to see this kind of music or that kind of music or this kind of crowd, or take it with their fish and chips or whatever you want to do.
Right, exactly. Every night's the accommodation's covered. You've selected some great properties. Yeah. Really in kind of in the heart of the town, so we can really get out and explore.
Location is everything.
That's what I hear, yeah. Admission to attractions such as going to the Jameson Distillery and the Guinness Storehouse, that's all included.
Yeah, so everything that's kind of mentioned in the itinerary by name. So whether it's Guinness or whether it's Blacks or a tasting room or we're making beer here or we're going to the Cliffs of Moher here, that's all included. There is free time in some places and whatever people do that they might be walking to.
Well, they could follow us too, you know. And city tours, we've got some city tours available as well.
Yeah, coming into each city, we'll do a little loop around so people will have a good knowledge of the geography of the town.
The lay of the land, as
exactly. It's key. You know, whether they want to follow somebody around and learn all the history, that's entirely up to them.
Well, we spent a lot of time putting this together. You've done a lot of work, and you're going to see some more of that work coming forward. We've got some videos from Ireland talking about the different experiences we're going to do. How do people find out more, and how do they get on board this trip?
So yeah, independentireland.com. I have it right there, just slightly above the fold there, and all the information is right there. The itinerary, you can hold a spot for 72 hours while you decide, and or put just a $250 deposit right there, and then the itinerary is there if you want to dive further into that, or if you have any questions, my contact info is right there. Just pick up the phone or bang an email.
Yeah. Facebook. Any of those things.
It's
been popular. The tour is already about a third sold out. There's space for you to join us, and we hope that you
more actually. I think right now. Yeah, we had 2 yesterday sign up as well.
So, excellent. Yeah. So we hope that you'll join us. And independentireland.com is where to find out more. It's called Insider Experience Ireland, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Right. See you there.
Yeah.